you can't give up, like you have to just, take the small jobs sometimes, and those small jobs will build into a relationship like it did with that guy. And then he pretty much like laid it down with his best buddy, and he gave me a fucking $800 sale. How's he been? I know he moved. He's been okay? That's awesome, man. That's really cool. That's good, man. He was a good guy, and he helped me out when he suggested me to you. Because back then I just started my business, so I was struggling, man. So literally getting your account back then was super helpful. That was like 3 years ago, and we're killing it now, man. So we don't really do a lot of residential anymore. We do a lot of big hotels and stuff like that. But we do a lot of window cleanings now for like Hiltons and Marriotts and stuff like that. But I never got to thank you for helping me out when you did back then. So it was awesome, dude. That guy, like my first month in business, my first month in business was October of 2016, right? And I was like literally just trying to figure things out. And my first month in business, I did about $5,000 in clients. My first month in business, and it was just residential solar cleanings. Not bad for my first month in business. You know what I mean? And this guy, he did business with me. It was literally like my first 2 weeks in business. He did a 700 solar panel cleaning with me because he had a business. And here's what happened. I knocked a door that was a residential client, and knocked the door. The residential client answered, and I told him I would clean his solar panels for $50, like literally $50. And it was like a little small system like that one, dude, like 20 panels, And I did such a good job with him, and like I was so nice to him, and the guy was kind of like tight on money at that time. And I was like, at first I told him like 150, and he's like, I can't do that, sorry, man. And so I gave it to him for $50 just because like I thought he needed my help and I needed the money. I literally was like my first 2 weeks in business. And when I got done, he gave me a business card, and he was like, hey, this is like one of my best buddies. Like it's a really good friend of mine. And so he gave me the business card, and I called him up, and the guy owns a business in LA, like a big factory. And he had 700 solar panels like on his roof. And the guy did business with me. And he paid me $850 to do it. And it took me like two or 3 days to do. And since it was my first 2 weeks in business, that was super helpful, man. I was selling deals for like $100, $200, $50, and I didn't really know where my next job was coming from. So for him to pay me $850 in my first 2 weeks of business, I was like super pumped, man. And that's just like, it shows you like you can't give up, like you have to just, take the small jobs sometimes, and those small jobs will build into a relationship like it did with that guy. And then he pretty much like laid it down with his best buddy, and he gave me a fucking $800 sale. So it was pretty incredible, dude. It was awesome. And then I have another job, and it was for solar panel cleaning. And then the same customer, I sold him a $400 gutter system. Like, the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like random shit just so I can survive. You know what I mean? Like I installed a gutter system. Like that wasn't part of my services, dude. It's just the guy needed it, And he was just a cool guy. And I noticed like he had an issue on the front of his roof where he needed a gutter system. And I was like, hey man, if you want, like I'll help you out and install a new gutter system for you. And he's like, yeah, why not? Like tell me how much it will be. And I was like, $400. I didn't know, He's like, okay. And I was like, sweet. You know what I mean? Like things like that, dude, is what kept my business alive in the first year. I was reliant upon the solar cleanings for like $100 here, $200 there, whatever. But whenever I saw the house needed some more work, I was like a handyman, dude. Like I offered them like to do their gutters or to clean out their gutters or like just like weird stuff, Like, oh, this one guy, he had like some landscaping in the yard, and he was older. And he had these flower beds with these big rocks that needed to be like set up, all around the garden. And they were all stacked up in a big pile. And he had a beautiful, landscape out there. And I just offered him help. I was like, hey man, do you want me to like lay those rocks, you know, like in circles around your trees and around your garden? And he was like, yeah, how much? And I was like, I mean, I'll do it for a couple $100 if you just want me to bang it out. He's like, sure, go at it. And then the next day, dude, I'm telling you, customers like that is what kept me going, because they didn't need me, you know, like he already had, like, this guy owned like a $2 million home. He had like a freaking nice landscaper that would come and do his property like every other day. But they did it to help me. You see what I'm saying? Like, they did it because they saw like how hungry I was, and they were like, this kid really wants to build his business, you know? So guys like that, man, is like really what kept me going. Like, he let me do that, paid me a couple $100, and then the next day he offered me to pull weeds in his backyard. And I didn't have no business, so I'm like, yeah, for sure. And he paid me like a daily rate, like $200 to like pull weeds in his backyard. And I had another customer where I cleaned his solar panels. I quoted him $100, right? Quoted him $100. He said yes, cleaned his solar panels. When I got done, we were so cool. Like, this guy, he was actually a writer for Star Wars. So like all the new Star Wars shit, like for Disney and stuff, he literally wrote the scripts. Like, he was a script writer, you know? And this guy had money, you know? And so he shot me a tip for $350, and it was $100 solar cleaning. And you know what he told me? He was just like, look, man, you just started your business. Like, you're going to need some capital. Like, here you go. Like, guys like that, dude. That's what kept me going, man. Because I was in my first year, like, struggling, man, just trying to make things work. And customers like that is what really kept me going, because they just kept me motivated, because they saw something in me that I couldn't see at that time, because I was so overwhelmed. I was so stressed, like, trying to figure out where the next dollar was going to come from. And like, when you're out there knocking doors and you're getting doors slammed on your face all day, and you don't have any money and you don't know how you're going to pay the bills, those customers reminding you, like, dude, it's going to be okay. Like, here's a $300 tip. Like, hang in there. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the shit that kept me going.